You don't feel yourself becoming broke in one dramatic moment. You feel it in tiny taps. A tap to order food because you're tired. A tap to upgrade because it's only a little more. A tap to pay for faster shipping because waiting feels annoying. A tap to subscribe because you'll probably use it. A tap to avoid cooking. A tap to avoid planning. A tap to avoid friction. And every single one of those taps has the same emotional justification. It's just more convenient. That word sounds innocent. It sounds responsible. It sounds like progress. But convenient is one of the most dangerous words in modern personal finance because it doesn't describe a feature, it describes a trade. Convenience is not free. Convenience is a tax. And the scary part is you're paying it every day without ever seeing a bill. By the end of this video, you're going to see that convenient is not a small word. It's a financial lifestyle. And if you let it run on autopilot, it quietly turns you into a high-income worker with low-income behavior, which is the fastest way to stay stuck forever. Most people think wealth gets destroyed by big mistakes. They picture someone buying a luxury car they can't afford, or gambling on a bad investment, or making one massive decision that blows everything up. And that happens sometimes. But that's not how most people lose. Most people lose slowly. The middle class doesn't get wiped out by explosions. It gets erased by erosion. It's death by 1,000 tiny decisions that never feel important enough to fight. Convenience spending is the perfect weapon for that. It doesn't feel reckless. It doesn't feel irresponsible. It feels practical. It feels efficient. It feels like you're being smart with your time. That's why it slips past your defenses. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The things that hurt you the most financially are the things you don't feel emotionally. Big purchases create pain. Pain creates awareness. Awareness creates restraint. Convenience creates no pain, which means it creates no awareness, which means it keeps happening. If you're someone who feels like you make decent money, but it still disappears, or you're constantly spending just a little more than you planned, or you're trying to build wealth but convenience keeps leaking your progress, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Because today, we're going to break down the hidden convenience tax, why it's so psychologically powerful, and the system that lets you enjoy convenience without letting it own you. Here's the simplest definition of the convenience tax. It's the extra money you pay to avoid friction. Friction is effort. Planning, waiting, cooking, walking, comparing prices, packing your own lunch, driving to the store, saying no, delaying gratification, doing the thing that costs time and energy instead of money. Convenience is what happens when you pay money to remove friction from your life. And to be clear, convenience can be good. Convenience can save time. Convenience can reduce stress. Convenience can make life easier in moments where life is already difficult. The problem isn't convenience existing. The problem is convenience becoming your default operating system. Because once convenience becomes the default, you don't just pay more occasionally. You pay more every day. And that's when convenience stops being a tool and becomes a lifestyle tax. If you want to know why people feel broke even when their income is higher than it used to be, this is a huge part of it. You're not just paying for things anymore. You're paying for speed. You're paying for effortless. You're paying for now. And those payments never end. Let's take the most common convenience trap, ordering food. You tell yourself you're ordering a $12 meal. That's how your brain frames it. But the real cost isn't $12. It's $12 plus a delivery fee, plus a service fee, plus taxes, plus a tip, plus the extra side you wouldn't have bought if you were eating at home, plus the drink you added because it was one tap away. Your $12 meal becomes $30. But your brain doesn't feel $30 because the spending is fragmented into little pieces that feel disconnected. That fragmentation is not a coincidence. It's design. The system is engineered to reduce the emotional pain of spending by splitting the damage into smaller hits that your brain ignores. You don't feel like you spent $30. You feel like you spent $12, plus a few dollars. Now here's the real question. Is $30 too much for one meal? Sometimes you're exhausted and you need relief. The real question is, how often does that become normal? Because the convenience economy doesn't need you to do this once. It needs you to build a habit. The profit isn't in the meal. The profit is in the pattern. This is the first mindset shift that changes everything. The purchase isn't the threat. The pattern is. If you order delivery once a month, it's a luxury. If you order delivery 3 times a week, it becomes a fixed expense. And fixed expenses are what create fragility. Convenience converts variable spending into permanent spending. That's the real danger. You think you're making a one-time decision, but you're actually constructing a lifestyle. And lifestyle is expensive. This is why people can look at their life and say, I don't even spend that much, but still never build wealth, because that much doesn't come in one big bill. It comes in daily micropayments that add up into a monthly lifestyle that your income can barely support. Now, here's the part nobody wants to talk about, because it sounds like a self-help lecture, but it's real. Convenience doesn't just cost money. It trains you. It trains you to avoid effort. It trains you to avoid planning. It trains you to avoid friction. It trains you to expect immediate comfort. And that is a disaster for the wealth building, because wealth is built by doing the opposite. Wealth is built by people who can tolerate friction today for freedom tomorrow. They plan. They cook more often. They walk more often. They compare prices sometimes. They keep their lifestyle boring on purpose. They make the default option the cheap option, and they reserve convenience for moments that truly matter. Convenience flips the default. It makes spending effortless. And effortless spending is the fastest way to stay broke while feeling like you're doing fine. There's a nasty version of convenience that shows up everywhere. The only $5 more trap. Priority shipping? Only $5 more. Upgrade to premium? Only $5 more. Extra storage? Only $5 more. Remove ads? Only $5 more. Skip the wait? Only $5 more. And $5 feels harmless. That's why it works. But when you pay $5 more frequently, it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a permanent tax on your future. Here's the sneaky part. Convenience spending doesn't hit your brain as I'm spending money. It hits your brain as I'm avoiding discomfort, and humans will spend shocking amounts of money to avoid discomfort. Not big discomfort, tiny discomfort. Waiting is discomfort, planning is discomfort, cooking is discomfort, walking is discomfort, thinking is discomfort. The convenience economy monetizes every one of those micro discomforts, and it does it so smoothly that you don't realize you're being harvested. This is the darkest part, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Convenience businesses thrive when you're exhausted, because exhausted people don't plan. Exhausted people don't cook. Exhausted people don't compare. Exhausted people don't track. Exhausted people don't think long-term. Exhausted people want relief. So the system doesn't just sell you food or services. It sells you relief, and you pay for relief with your future. This is why convenience spending spikes during stressful seasons. When work is chaotic, when life is heavy, when mental energy is low, convenience becomes the easy button, and the easy button is always expensive. And if you let convenience become your default, you don't just spend more money. You lose the skill of effort. You lose the habit of intention. You lose the ability to do hard things for long-term rewards. That's what creates the trap. Now let's run a number that actually matters. Let's say convenience costs you an extra $15 per day. That's not insane. That could be delivery fees, upgrades, subscriptions, extra snacks, ride shares, whatever. $15 a day feels harmless. But per year, that's $5,475. And now here's the part most people never calculate. It's not just $5,475 spent. It's the wealth you didn't build, because that money never became an asset. It never became ownership. It never became compounding. This is what convenience really steals: momentum. It steals the extra cash flow that turns a normal life into a wealth-building machine. You can't invest consistently if convenience is constantly eating the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Convenience doesn't just make you spend more, it makes you invest less. And investing less is why the crossover moment never arrives. One of the biggest reasons people fail financially is lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is when your income rises and your normal rises with it. But most people think lifestyle creep happens when you buy something big, like a nicer car or a bigger house. That's one version, but the more common version is smaller. It's the convenience creep. You get a raise and you don't buy a sports car. You just start ordering more. You start upgrading more. You start paying for speed more often. You start living more comfortably, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet way. Your lifestyle doesn't explode, it inflates. And inflation is quiet. That's why it wins. Here's the argument everyone makes when they defend convenience spending. I'm paying for time, and that can be valid. Time is valuable, but most people price their time like an employee, not like an investor. They say, I make $30 an hour, so paying $10 for convenience is fine. But they ignore the second cost, the pattern cost. If you pay for convenience every day, you don't just buy back time. You build a lifestyle that requires ongoing convenience spending to sustain. That lifestyle becomes expensive, and expensive lifestyles create dependency on high income, and dependency is the opposite of freedom. Convenience doesn't just cost money. It increases your dependency on work. It makes you need your paycheck more, which means the thing you bought to make your life easier ends up making your life more fragile. At this point, people either react in one of two ways. Some people go extreme and say, fine, I'll cut everything. Others say, this is dramatic, let people live. Both reactions miss the real solution. The goal is not to eliminate convenience. The goal is to control it. Convenience as a tool is strategic, it's planned, it's occasional, it's used when it truly adds value. Convenience as a lifestyle is automatic, it's daily, it's reactive, it's used to avoid discomfort constantly. Tool convenience gives you freedom. Lifestyle convenience steals it. Here's the system that works. Because it doesn't require motivation every day. It requires one decision in advance. You create a convenience budget. Step 1. Pick your weekly convenience allowance. Not a vague goal, a real number. $40 per week, $80 per week, $120 per week. Whatever fits your income and your stage, but it must be defined. Step 2. Decide your convenience categories. Delivery, ride shares, premium subscriptions, faster shipping, upgrades. You choose where convenience is allowed. This turns convenience from a leak into a decision. Step 3. Create a convenience lane. Use a separate card or a separate account for convenient spending. When it's empty, you're done. No guilt, no debate. The system decides for you. This is how you keep your lifestyle enjoyable without letting the easy button drain your future. Now here's the part that feels counterintuitive but works insanely well. You add friction back into your life on purpose. Because the entire modern economy is designed to remove friction so you can spend without thinking. Your job is to reverse that. Delete saved cards from delivery apps. Turn off one-click checkout. Remove shopping apps from your home screen. Unsubscribe from promotional emails. Turn off push notifications. Make spending slightly annoying. Not impossible, just annoying enough to slow you down. Most overspending doesn't survive friction. It survives convenience. Friction is a filter. It forces you to make a decision instead of acting on impulse. Here's one of the most effective anti-convenience hacks. If the convenience purchase is not urgent, you wait 2 hours. 2 hours is long enough for the emotional craving to cool down, because most convenience spending isn't buying time. It's buying dopamine. It's buying relief. It's buying comfort. 2 hours gives your logical brain time to come back online. And if after 2 hours you still want it, you buy it guilt-free out of your convenience budget. That's the key. No shame. Structure, not guilt. Now we bring it all together. The reason convenient is the most dangerous word is because it sounds harmless while it quietly drains your margin. It keeps you in a cycle where you earn, spend, and repeat with no progress. It steals the extra cash flow that would have built runway. It steals the consistency that would have built ownership. It steals the momentum that would have crossed the freedom line. Convenience is not evil, but convenience on autopilot is. So here's the simple system that fixes it. Automate investing first, before convenience has a chance to eat your money. Cap convenience spending with a weekly allowance. Use a separate lane so the leak becomes visible. Add friction back into the apps that monetize your exhaustion. Use the 2-hour rule to kill impulse relief spending. You don't need to become perfect. You just need to stop letting convenience make decisions for you. The convenience tax is the bill you never see, but you pay it anyway. You pay it with delivery fees, upgrades, subscriptions, and small add-ons that feel harmless. You pay it with lost momentum. You pay it with delayed freedom. And the reason it's so dangerous is because it doesn't feel like failure. It feels like modern life. But if you want to build wealth, you cannot live on autopilot inside a system designed to extract money from your fatigue. So the next time you hear yourself say the word convenient, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I buying time or am I buying a habit? Because the habit is what will decide your future. If this video helped you see convenience differently, share it with someone who always says it's only a few dollars. And subscribe, because we're going to keep exposing the invisible systems that quietly destroy wealth. See you in the next video.